So guys, over here, today we're taking a look at the borrowing and lending protocol on Aptos, and we're also going to check how in general the looping strategy works on lending and borrowing protocols. So we've got Aries Market on Aptos. I'm going to be using my Martian wallet, and we're going to be using, in this case, only stable pools here. So if we take a look at the market, we can see that currently 3 pools are incentivized on both sides. So you get incentives to lend and to borrow. And also there is wrapped ETH pool that is incentivized on the deposit side. As you can see, the deposit and borrowing APYs on different stables slightly differ. However, if you think how we're going to do the looping and also slight differences in these token values, it's pretty much the same. Market usually just balances itself out. And by the way, if you're not familiar with abbreviations of stables on Aptos, basically ZUSDC is USDC bridged by layer 0, and respectively ZUSDT is USDT bridged by layer 0. And if you see just USDC and USDT, this is bridged by wormhole. Sometimes you may also see the version of like WUSDC and WUSDT. So here let's play with layer 0 version of these tokens. Also, before we begin, 2 important things regarding this app specifically. First of all, to do anything here, you need to initialize your account, basically create your account. This is on-chain transaction. And also keep in mind that there are withdrawal fees. I believe it's 0.5% for all the stables. Okay, our account is now initialized. We should also have the dashboard here. There you go. Let's start by supplying some USDCs. I'll just do whatever is available in my wallet. In this case, we're gonna start with a little bit over 1.9. Okay, this has been deposited, and now you can see there is like a small tab here that says rewards in the form of Aptos. So basically how it works here, since this is incentivized APYs, and that's also what you need to keep in mind here, that these APYs that you get in from Aptos incentives, you will be able to manually collect them here. Meanwhile, your positions, well, our positions in this case, will generate 4.44% APY, and we'll be also paying 8.03% on our borrow. So without these incentives, obviously we're losing money. And also one important metric that I forgot to mention on lending and borrowing is LTV. This is loan to value. This is basically showing you the ratio of how much you can borrow compared to your lending position. So in case of stables, we got 80%, which means if we supplied 1.9K, we are able to borrow 80% of that. Okay, so we're borrowing USDTs. And now we need to go and swap these USDTs to USDCs. You can use Aries swap. This is basically an aggregator, or you can go and use another swap. It doesn't matter. I just recommend setting lower slippage tolerance, especially since we're gonna be swapping stables. So we take these USDTs and swapping them to USDCs. Again, rates can be slightly different. As you can see, currently USDC is a bit more valuable in the pools. So again, you can check that before you choose what route are you going. Here we're just doing that as an example, so it doesn't really matter. So we can go and now deposit this amount. Okay, we deposited that. Now we go and we borrow more USDTs. Now we can borrow 80% of what we supplied second time. So that's your basic loop. That's how it looks. So this is loop inside one protocol. If you have, for example, 2 lending and borrowing protocols, and let's say both are good in terms of APYs, that's going to be even better for you. Because instead of swapping tokens, you can play in parallel in both protocols. Let's say in one protocol, you lend in USDC and you borrow in USDT, then you go to the second protocol, you lend in USDT and you borrow USDC, and you continue the loop without swapping. Because swapping actually makes it a bit less lucrative, because even though these are stable pools and you're usually not paying too much fees on swaps, you're still paying some. Okay, we're gonna go and swap more. Going back to lending more. Now borrowing 80% of that. Now we're gonna swap. Okay, so I did the loop for around 10 to 12 times. Basically, at this point, I can borrow 325. Obviously, you can go as deep as you want, but with every leg, you can lend and borrow less and less and less and less. Currently, APY after the last action was lending, shows 62%. I think you can get it to around like 75 to 80%. This is a very good APY, considering that on paper, you don't really take in risks. However, why I say on paper? Because this is still protocol on chain. This is still operating with the Oracle prices. So if everything happens with the Oracle feed, even though your position is technically stable, things may happen like liquidation. Or some DPEGs. You're providing USDC as collateral. All of a sudden, if there is significant DPEG, you can also theoretically get liquidated in this case. Now, I would say both of these events, in the case of oracles and in the case of significant DPEGs, these are like black swan events. So like 99.99% chance that everything's gonna be fine. And if it's black swan, then it's black swan. Like, what you gonna do? What else you need to keep in mind here? It's not all that great. You can look at this APY and say, wow, this is fantastic. Why don't I park all my stables this way? There are several things that will actually affect your APY, actual APY, in the negative way. Things number one, there are withdrawal fees here. I believe it's 0.5%. So whatever you deposited here on the whole amount, you will have to pay 0.5% when you withdraw that. So if you plan to park here for a few days, like that's not going to be a good strategy. I'm personally holding this until the incentives run out, then I'm going to withdraw. But in general, this is like medium-term strategy, definitely not short-term. Also, you're paying 0.1% on your borrows. Like if you try to borrow here, you're going to see, where is it? There you go. Borrow fee, 0.1%. Again, keep in mind that the majority of profits are going to be sitting right here. Here you have the rewards that you need to manually collect. And without these rewards, your position will actually lose money. So keep that in mind. Obviously, these rewards are far greater than the amount you're going to be losing, but the fact that you have to collect this manually also kind of sucks in a way. And the last thing I would advise, when you're gonna unwind this whole thing, it's better if you have like a pool of stables that you can use, because let's say you provided all of your liquidity here and you're gonna unwind and you're gonna be doing that in small portions, like basically unlooping it back. And the better option is, like in my case, I borrowed 5.8K in total. So if I have this money, I can just repay the whole debt and then withdraw all of my collateral, including all of the loops. And then if I need to swap it, I just do one swap. Or at least if you have some amount, maybe I have 1K. If in this case, let's say I went through all of the loops, if I take, for example, 1,000, it will take me like 3 legs to get all of it out instead of like 20 legs. So that's just convenience, and again, you cutting on your swapping fees. So that's all I wanted to cover here. I hope this video was helpful. Please drop a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.